This is the chuck I got off Amazon on Prime Day for $59. Normally is for like $79. It's a Chinese chuck, but you can see it's holding that workpiece really nice and stable, okay? And if you increase the speed control, you'll see there's very little run out. The workpiece is very solidly held, and I was able to cut this lid off of it and build the tenon here, smooth that out, and now I'm working on hollowing here. So I'm going to make another box using this lathe chuck rather. Now what I learned while working on it is that you need to have a tenon that allows for both the grip of the chuck but also the shoulders to take a load. See, this tenon here for this workpiece, I didn't do that. I just cut a tenon and was grabbing it with the tenon as I was working on the workpiece. And it didn't have a secure grip on it, and I did lose it out of the lathe chuck once, but I was able to sort of catch it and make sure it didn't damage anything. So this piece won't do that, and it's very secure. And the reason why is if you look, you'll see there's a tenon, but there's a shoulder on the tenon, and the shoulder is butted right up against the face of the lathe chuck jaws. And then the tenon does not bottom out. That was the other mistake. You don't want the tenon on the bottom. You want to have it so that all the load forces are on the shoulders of the workpiece. And that way, as the workpiece tries to rack this way or that way, the shoulders take all the force. And the jaws are only providing a frictional force to hold the workpiece in place this direction, okay? Then it's like completely rock solid. Now, this is not as good as like a Nova chuck, but it's pretty good. It was a little sticky when I first got it, so I just kept running it through its paces, opening and closing the jaws. And I had no problem turning the jaws around. It has two modes. It has the interior grip versus exterior grip, and not a problem. People have complained online that they have a hard time doing it. I just followed the instructions and it worked just fine. I would say when you turn these around and you hold a workpiece with the points, you have to accept that they're going to damage the workpiece. So what you're doing is everything like from about here back should be considered waste. And the lathe is holding it, because with this piece, I was working very close to the jaws of the chuck, and let me tell you, that's a little too exciting for my taste. I was one slip and you hit the jaws, and that can damage the workpiece. A catch like that could be very bad. So I'm not going to do that again. I'm just going to say, okay, that's waste. But overall, for a $59 chuck, I'm pretty happy with it. When it wears out, I might buy one of those really expensive Nova chucks. The thing I don't like about them is they have all the attachments, which is on the paper good, but then you have to keep track of all the attachments. This is nice and self-contained. It's just done. It's like a drill chuck. So this is the Chinese lathe chuck, 6 inches, very sturdy.